The Nemesis 2 milestone, April 2026. NASA recently achieved a historic breakthrough in human exploration. On April the 1st, 2026, the Nemesis 2 mission launched with a crew of 4, becoming the first humans to fly around the moon since 1972. That's over 50-some years. I know it's 50-some years because I was actually born in 1962, which make it over 60, which make me this year. The record of on April the 6th, 2026, the crew broke for the farthest human space flight from Earth, surpassing the distance set by Apollo 13. The Earth set during their lunar flyby. The crew captured a breathtaking Earth set from the side of the moon, a perspective rarely seen by human eyes. Key lessons. The mission confirmed that modern life support system can sustain humans in deep space for extended periods, paving the way for the Nemesis 3 lunar landing, redefining planets and stars. April 2026. One of the newest specific revelations comes from the James Webb Space Telescope, JWST, discovery of 29 CGNI-B on April 14, 2026. NASA announced that JWST has directly imaged a exoplanet 29, which is times the mass of Jupiter. Believe it or not, we learned by detecting heavy elements like oxygen in its atmosphere. Scientists proved this superplanet through accretions gathering dust in rock rather than rapid collapse of clouds. This discovery blurs the traditional line between what we consider a large planet and a small star. Mapping the invisible class folding, we have gained a much clearer view of the dark matter that holds the universe together. The Webb dark matter map released in early 2026. This map is twice as sharp as any previous version. It identifies clearly 800,000 galaxies and revealed that dark matter and original matter have always coexisted and evolved. Next phrase. The Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope is now fully assembled and targeting a launch as early as fall 2026. It will have a field of view 100 times larger than Hubble, allowing it to map billions of galaxies and hunt for dark energy. Solar system surprises. Asteroids inventory. The Vero C. Rubin Conservatory has already discovered 11,000 new asteroids during its early operation in 2026, marking a turning point in our ability to map the neighbors around us, or shall I say around Earth. Mercury under watch. After an 8-year journey, the Colombo is tracked to enter orbit around Mercury in November 2026, aiming to solve the mystery of why the innermost planet has a magnetic field.
While the Artemis II crew were breaking records 230,000 miles away, feeling the silent solitude of the lunar far side, another mission was being finalized back on Earth that would look millions of times further. Meet the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope. If the James Webb is our cosmic microscope, zooming in on the birth of stars, Roman is our cosmic wide-angle lens. Imagine trying to map a forest. Webb can tell you the chemical makeup of a single leaf, but Roman can photograph the entire forest in one shot. By 2027, Roman will be hunting for the invisible scaffolding of our universe, dark matter. It will perform a census of the stars, searching for thousands of new worlds by watching how their gravity slightly bends the light of the stars behind them. From the human perspective of an astronaut looking back at a fragile Earth, to a machine looking out at the vast, dark energy pulling our universe apart, we are finally seeing the full picture of our astral adventure. The cosmic turning point, what NASA just discovered, 0-130. The hook, the farthest humans have ever gone visual, fast cuts of the Artemis II launch and the silent, cratered far side of the moon. Narration. On April 6, 2026, 4 humans looked out their window and saw something no one has seen in over 50 years. They weren't just orbiting, they were breaking the record for the farthest human spaceflight in history. But while they were looking back at us, NASA's eyes were looking much, much further. Core message. Introduce the theme. 2026 is the year our perspective of the universe changed forever. 130, 330. Part 1. The Earthsat perspective. Visual. The high-def Earthsat footage from Artemis II. Narration. Focus on the human experience. Quote Victor Glover on Earth's fragile but fierce atmosphere. The lesson. What does our planet look like from 230,000 miles away? Explain why Artemis II is the essential test drive for Mars. We've learned that our current tech can keep us alive in the deep void. 330, 530. Part 2. The New Giants 29, Cine B. Visual. JWST's direct image of the massive exoplanet and artist renderings of its super Jupiter scale. Narration. Earlier this month, the James Webb telescope spotted a planet 15 times the size of Jupiter. But it's not just a big planet, it's a rule breaker. The lesson. Explain the discovery of heavy elements in its atmosphere. We've learned that planets can form more like stars than we ever thought, forcing us to rewrite the planet versus star definition. 530. 8. Why? Part 3. Mapping the invisible. Dark matter and the Roman visual. Side-by-side comparison. Hubble's narrow view versus the Roman Space Telescope's 100x wide view. Show the 2026 Webb Dark Matter Map. Narration. If Webb is a microscope, the Nancy Grace Roman Telescope is the wide-angle lens we've been waiting for. The lesson. Discuss the invisible scaffolding. We've learned that dark matter is more integrated into galaxy evolution than previously modeled. Roman will now census the stars to find out if dark energy is constant or changing. 8 9:15. Part 4. The Neighborhood Watch. Asteroids and Mercury. Visual. Time-lapse of the 11,000 new asteroids found by the Vera Rubin Observatory. Narration. We used to think space was empty. Now we know our neighborhood is crowded. The lesson. Mention Bepi Colombo's arrival at Mercury later this year. We are finally learning why the smallest planet has such a massive, mysterious magnetic field. 9:15:10. So. Conclusion. The Astral Adventure continues. Visual. Emotional montage of the Artemis crew, the deep field of galaxies, and an Astral Adventure logo. Narration. We are living in the golden age of discovery. From 4 humans behind the moon to telescopes mapping billions of galaxies, the more we learn, the more we realize how much adventure is still left. Call to action. What discovery from 2026 blew your mind the most? Let us know in the comments. Expanded segment, the silence of the far side. Visual, the camera slowly pans across the gray, desolate, crater-scarred surface of the lunar far side. The music drops to a low, pulsing hum. Narrator. There is a moment in the Artemis II mission that the crew will never forget. It happened as they slipped behind the lunar horizon. In an instant, the Earth vanished. Think about that. For the first time in over 50 years, 4 human beings were completely cut off from the rest of their species. No radio, no internet, no blue marble in the window. Just the static of the stars and the shadow of a world that hasn't seen sunlight in weeks. Christina Koch described it as a profound solitude. In that silence, you realize that everything you've ever loved, everyone you've ever known, is hidden behind 2,000 miles of dead lunar rock. Visual. Suddenly, a sliver of bright, brilliant blue begins to peek over the jagged edge of the moon. The music swells into a hopeful, cinematic orchestral track. Narrator. But then, the Earth set. As the Orion capsule rounded the curve, the Earth didn't just appear, it erupted into the blackness. Victor Glover described it as a living marble. From this distance, you don't see the scars of war, the lines of countries, or the noise of cities. You see a fragile, fierce glow. What have we learned from this astral adventure so far? We've learned that the further we go into the dark, the more we realize how lucky we are to have that one tiny glowing home. We aren't just going back to the moon to stay. We're going back to remember who we are. To make the technical side just as gripping as the emotional side, this segment frames the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope as a cosmic private eye solving the universe's biggest missing person case. Expanded segment, the ghost in the machine. Visual, a fast-paced montage of the famous Hubble deep field, zooming out rapidly to show how tiny that sliver of space actually is. Then, an overlay of the Roman telescope's massive field of view, 100x larger, blots out the screen. Narrator. While the Artemis crew was witnessing the beauty of what we can see, NASA is preparing to hunt for what we can. Enter the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope. If the James Webb is a sniper rifle, Roman is a sawed-off shotgun. It doesn't just look at a galaxy, it looks at the entire neighborhood, and it's looking for a ghost. For decades, we've known that the math of the universe doesn't add up. Galaxies are spinning too fast. The universe is expanding too quickly. There is an invisible scaffolding holding everything together called dark matter, and a mysterious pressure pushing everything apart called dark energy. Visual, a high-tech 3D map of the universe showing glowing threads of light, galaxies, connected by faint purplish spiderwebs of dark matter. Narrator, Roman is designed to map these spiderwebs. In just its first few months of operation, it will take a galactic census, photographing billions of galaxies across cosmic time. But here's the real mind blower. Roman will use a technique called microlensing. It will watch for the moment a distant star's light bends ever so slightly, not because of another star, but because of the gravity of a rogue planet or a clump of dark matter passing in front of it. We are finally moving past the era of guessing what the universe is made of. We are about to see the invisible fingerprints of the force that decides the fate of our cosmos. What we've learned so far is that we only see 5% of reality. Roman is going to show us the other 95%. Production tips for this section. The wow graphic. Use a magnifying glass effect over a star field to show how the microlensing works, bending the light like a lens. The comparison. Keep emphasizing that Roman captures 100 times the area of Hubble. Use a phone camera versus professional panoramic analogy so the audience understands the scale instantly.
The Artemis crew, too, personal experience. The crew, Reed Reisman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen, had shared several human moments that are perfect for a storytelling style video. The Silence Four Sides. Christina Koch described the transition as they moved behind the moon, losing all radio contact with Earth. She called it a moment of profound solitude, where the entire human race was hidden behind a massive rock, and they were the only four people looking out into the deep void, Earth as a living marble. Victor Glover noted that from 230,000 miles away, you don't see borders or cities. You see a thin, glowing atmosphere. He remarked that Earth looked like a fragile but fragrance, emphasizing how protected we are by such a small layer of gas. Life in the Orion capsule. The crew has shared clips of how they managed daily lives in a space the size of a small SUV, from celebrating the mission midpoints with space tacos to the intense focus requiring during the critical engine burns to set their directed trajectory back to Earth. The Roman Space Telescope technical powerhouse, while the James Webb JWST is like a high-powered microscope for the universe. The Nancy Gray Roman Telescope, launching late 2026, is the ultra-wide-angle lens, the 100 times view. It has the same minor size as Hubble, 2.4 meter, but its camera is so advanced it can capture and nearly 100 times larger in a single shot. The galactic sensor, because it can see so much at once, it will perform a massive census of our galaxy. NASA expected to find over 2,600 exoplanets simply by watching how their gravity warps the light of distant stars, micro-sensing. So if you think we just have 9, 10, 11, or 12 planets in our universe, you are gravely mistaken. A dark energy hunter. Its primary mission is to solve why the universe expands, is accelerating by mapping the position of billions of galaxies across comets' time. It will show us if dark energy is a constant force or if our understanding of gravity needs to be an update. The coronal graphics. It carries a starlight blocking tool that is 100 times more powerful than anything flown before. This will allow it to take direct photos of planets orbiting other stars by turning off the star binding light. And so once again, I'd like to welcome you guys back to another episode of Astral Adventure. And I'm your host, John Schaff. So we put together this presentation for you to enjoy about our Nemesis 2 and the crew and what they seen, the stories that they shared once they have returned home to the planet Earth. I can't imagine being on a ship and going out into space and going on the other side of the moon and seeing Earth vanish, disappear. Not only did it disappear, for a brief moment in time, they lost all contact with NASA. And of course that's going to happen because you got this big old rock you call the moon that's blocking off the signal. Now I'm impressed with the signal being strong as it is for them to be able to communicate with NASA being hundreds of thousands of miles away from the Earth. But once that big rock, you get on the other side of it and it blocks those signal rays, briefly you are out of touch, and you hopefully when you get on the other side of it that the connection will reoccur. And so obviously it did, and they was able to reoccur contact with NASA. And as we all know, it was a tremendous success. And like I say in previous videos, you have to wonder what they really are trying to do. And what they're really trying to do is not only build a multi-billion-dollar station there on the dark side of the moon, but they are also trying to establish ways how to travel further into space, with Mars being the target planet of interest. Their goal is to put a colony of 1 million humans on Mars one day. Hopefully I'll live to see that, but I will not be one of them. And so NASA has some really great plans for space adventures, and hopefully I will live long enough to see these great plans and future missions come to fruition. So that's going to do it for this video. We're going to add a little small presentation along with this video for you to enjoy. So sit back, relax, share, subscribe. Don't be afraid to leave a comment below, as long as it is a positive comment. And that's going to do it. And we'll see you in the next video. Again, we thank you for watching.